Hello, tonight on our program, government to establish new framework to cut down cost of building units under affordable housing project by about 50%. We'll hear from the sector minister.
We are looking at a situation where we can build to cost about $20,000, $25,000, so that majority of Ghanaians can afford, instead of building to cost around $100,000.
Financial service and technology professional Francis Appiah calls for an innovative way to integrate e-service into the economy.
I think the challenge is creating an environment where innovation is respected, innovation happens, and where within the confines of regulation, obviously, products and services around those innovations are created.
We'll have a report from the graphic business Stanbic Bank breakfast meeting. Also, aviation expert warns Kotoka International Airport could soon lose its place as Africa's most preferred airport if the current COVID-19 testing regime is not reviewed.
Right now, I think the main thing which is depressing the traffic, international traffic, from making a full recovery into Ghana is the cost of the testing regime.
My name is Daryl Kwawu. Thanks for joining us tonight. Details in a moment. Well, first up tonight, the Ministry of Works and Housing has moved to cut down on cost of housing units under the affordable housing project by more than 50%. According to the sector minister, Francis Asenso-Boakye, this will be captured under a new framework currently being developed by his outfit. He spoke at the association's annual CEO's breakfast meeting. Here's more.
Under the new framework, government is expected to provide the enabling environment for the real estate developers to put up the building units at much cheaper cost. The minister, Francis Asenso-Boakye, has therefore called for the buy-in of the Ghana Real Estate Developers Association to give meaning to affordable housing in the country.
Not only building luxury apartments and homes. We are looking at a situation where we can build to cost about $20,000, $25,000, so that majority of Ghanaians can afford, instead of building to cost around $100,000 and over. That one, given our current income levels as a country, it will be very difficult. I urge all greater members to embrace this current framework of government to invest in the provision of affordable housing where the housing deficit is prevalent.
The minister also hinted at plans to introduce tax incentives for investors venturing the real estate sector to complement efforts in reducing the housing deficit, which currently stands at 1.8 million housing units.
Government will strengthen the provision of the requisite tax incentives and exemptions available in our laws to attract private sector capital. Related to this is the establishment of the Home Ownership Fund to provide CD-denominated and credible mortgages to enable average Ghanaians, especially public servants, afford housing needs when they have delivered.
The event featured the swearing-in of new executives. Newly sworn-in President Patrick Ebobonfo pledged his administration's commitment to government's agenda of bridging the housing gap.
The new Executive Council will continue our effort to conclude the review of the commercial contract with the government of the Republic of Ghana through the Ministry of Works and Housing for the development of 20,000 affordable housing units across the country. We will also reinvigorate our project committee by bringing more members on board. We would like to see another greater estate constructed during the term of this executive council. The committees on finance, marketing, and projects must work together more closely to bring this to fruition.
Now, financial service and technology professional Francis Appiah is calling for an innovative way to integrate e-service into the economy. According to him, creation of an enabling environment and an increase in technology investment will aid and drive growth for the economy. Here's more from the graphic business Stanbic Bank breakfast meeting.
The quarterly meeting delved into the impact of e-services on the lives of people and businesses. It looked at making e-services a major game changer for economic growth through the creation of new economic opportunities, drive efficiency, improve livelihoods and well-being. Financial service and technology professional Francis Appiah called for an innovative way to integrate e-service into the Ghanaian economy. According to him, creating enabling environment and an increase in technology investment will aid in boosting the economy.
In terms of integrating e-services into economies like ours, I think fundamentally it's about respecting and investing in innovation. A lot of people have the answers to a lot of the problems that we have, and I think the challenge is creating an environment where innovation is respected, innovation happens, and where within the confines of regulation, obviously, products and services around those innovations are created. So really, as a financial services and technology professional, I think innovation is at the heart of all of it, right? And allowing people to innovate safely so that it doesn't harm a consumer, and then allowing people to push those innovations into the public domain will create a better environment for integrating services like this.
Speaking to Joy Business at the meeting, President of the Ghana Union of Traders Association, Dr. Joseph Obin, described the increase in policy rate as unwelcoming for traders.
Yeah, because I think they are doing this because of the inflation trends. And what is the push factor? The push factor is the depreciation of the city. The fact that the forest is going up the roof. And that's what is pushing the inflation. So before you even think about the policy rate, what we have to do is to stabilize the currency, which by itself will push down the inflation. Otherwise, the work done is zero. You want to bring the policy rate to mop up the excess liquidity. Is it going to be able to do that whilst people are using the excess liquidity to trade in the forest? Because that's where it's profitable now.
The event, which is the first of four for the year, attracted captains of industry, business leaders, among others.
Now, the Public Interest and Accountability Committee is set to hold a public lecture tomorrow Wednesday on 10 years of management of petroleum revenues in Ghana and the way forward. Joining us with a look ahead is Isaac Jamina, who is coordinator for the committee. Great to have you tonight on Business Live. From the bits I've gathered from PIAC, we have not done well in the management of our petroleum revenues. Is that the case?
Well, it depends on the perspective from which you look at it. The fact that we have had so much revenue come to support government programs and projects is something that is to be celebrated. I mean, it's in a positive light. It is just that we would also have to look at it in terms of how prudently we have managed how much has come to us, the total value that has been created over the 10 years, and how much of it has come to us as a state. I mean, these are the issues that we would look at rather than just to say that we have not done well managing what has come to us as a nation.
Well, the critical question for most people right now is that we are making a lot of money from oil recently. And as fuel prices are skyrocketing, the revenue should be used to cushion consumers. What's PIAC's take on that?
Well, the revenue that is generated from our upstream petroleum operations are guided by the Petroleum Revenue Management Act. And the Act stipulates the 12 priority areas where petroleum revenues can be invested. The current government has selected for the period 2019, 2020 to 2022, 4 priority areas, which are agriculture modernization, industrialization, education, health, and then roads and other critical infrastructure. So I am not aware that using the petroleum revenue to cushion the citizens is one of the priority areas selected by the government for the utilization of the petroleum revenue. So in that wise, it may fall foul of the Petroleum Revenue Management Act for the government to consider such a step, unless such an intention is taken to Parliament and it's approved. But this has already been done for the 3-year period covering 2020 to 2022. So I think we all live to see how this will be done or can be done within the constraints of the Petroleum Revenue Management Act.
Well, let's talk about tomorrow's event, where you're going to sort of have an assessment of management of petroleum revenues and discuss the way forward. What are we supposed to look forward to?
All right, so in 2021, when PIAC celebrated 10 years of its existence and of the implementation of the Petroleum Revenue Management Act, the committee thought that it was a good time to reflect on the 10 years that so much has come to Ghana in terms of petroleum revenue. So the committee commissioned a study on 10 years of petroleum revenue management in Ghana. The report was published about 3 weeks ago, but the committee only presented highlights of the report to the public. The committee intends to deepen the understanding of the public of the contents of the report, and that explains that's the rationale for the public lecture we plan having, God willing, tomorrow.
Okay, and so who are the speakers we are expecting? Is it open to the public?
All right, thank you. So the main speaker is Dr. Theophilus Achampon, or Dr. Theo Achampon, who happens to be the lead consultant who worked on the project for the committee. Of course, it is a PIAC event, and so the chairman of the committee and other members of the committee will be there to support. The lecture is scheduled to take place at the City Conference Center, the University of Ghana Economics Department at 10 a.m. And it's a public event. The reason is that the petroleum revenues belong to the people of Ghana, and so it is the right of the people of Ghana to know how much Ghana has generated and how well their revenues have been utilized. So it's open to the public, and it is at 10 a.m. prompt, and we expect all Ghanaians to be present to listen to the details of the study that the committee carried out.
And we will be following closely. Thanks so much, Isaac Jamna, who is coordinator of PIAC, for joining us tonight. You're watching Business Live. Still to come, aviation expert warns Kotoka International Airport could soon lose its place as Africa's most preferred if the current COVID-19 testing regime is not reviewed.
The main thing which is depressing the traffic, international traffic, from making a full recovery into Ghana is the cost of the testing regime.
Those were some stories from around the world. Welcome back to Business Live. Now, aviation expert Shawn Mendes fears the Kotoka International Airport could lose its place as Africa's most preferred if the current COVID-19 testing regime, which mandates all international passengers to pay $150 for a PCR test, is not reversed. He has been speaking on the marketplace.
Right now, I think the main thing which is depressing the traffic, international traffic, from making a full recovery into Ghana is the cost of the testing regime. And, you know, for a tourist who's considering Ghana versus some of the other countries in Africa or even in the sub-region, the extra $150 that a tourist has to pay for their COVID testing upon arrival at Accra Airport, despite being vaccinated, despite having done a PCR test in their home country, is quite prohibitive. And Ghana is losing traffic as a result of this. I've heard stories that there's likely to be a review of this in the near future, and I can only just join the chorus of people urging government to review this and at least make it a lot easier to facilitate travel into Ghana by business executives, by tourists, by the diaspora coming back in order to boost the traffic numbers as we are now beginning to see the end of the COVID pandemic.
Now, tax consultant Eric Amponsa Boatin says the electronic transaction levy could be beneficial in generating more revenue for the country if well structured. Speaking to Joy Business at the Graphic Business Stanbic Bank breakfast meeting, he warned Ghana has fewer options if it wants to cut down on borrowing.
I think that as a nation, all of us need to engage each other and ask ourselves. We are aware that Ghana has gone beyond 75% when you look at our debt to the GDP. So what does it mean? It means that we cannot go and borrow. So what are the options left? One option is that maybe we seek for grants. And you agree with me that because of the COVID, even those countries which were giving Ghana grants, they themselves, they're having issues. And if you say that you won't even go in for a loan, then you're going to pay back those loans with interest. And then there are also certain conditions that go with them. So, in my opinion, I think that the e-levy
is a good tax.
It's a good thing. However, I think that we really need to look at it well. For example, the last time I spoke on Joy News, I mentioned it, that I do not understand why I'm in the formal sector. My brother is in the formal sector. Before his salary goes to the bank, he's paid his PAYE.
Okay,
so we looked at all that, but the point is that it is at least one reason why I'm all for it is that it is bringing in at least some people who are in the informal sector into the net.
Okay. Well, speak of revenue, the Aflao Collection Department of the Customs Division at the Ghana Revenue Authority has surmounted the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic to exceed its 2021 revenue target of 156.92 million Ghana cedis. The collection accrued 159.84 million Ghana cedis, exceeding its target by 2.92 million, representing 1.86%. The Aflao Sector Commander, Assistant Commissioner Majid Amandi, announced this at the 2021 end-of-year get-together.
The 2021 end-of-year get-together was organized to celebrate staff and stakeholders who had contributed immensely to the operations of the Aflao collection. The sector commander, Assistant Commissioner Majid Amandi, lauded contributions of his colleagues towards achieving the 2021 revenue target.
Despite the raging and devastating effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, and coupled with the closure of the country's borders, the year 2021 began with some difficulty. But as a result of diligent work by the entire staff of the Customs Division of the Aflao collection, and spiced up with very well planned and coordinated anti-smuggling activities, the collection was able to exceed its target by 1.86%. Thus, with a target of 156.92 million Ghana cedis given to the collection at the beginning of the year 2021, the collection was able to mobilize a total of 159.84 million target by 2.9 million Ghana cedis.
Assistant Commissioner Johnson Yankee, who delivered a speech on behalf of the Commissioner of the Customs Division, implored the Aflao collection not to relent on its efforts as the Customs Division is tasked to mobilize a revenue target of 20.6 billion Ghana cedis out of the 80.3 billion Ghana cedis target for the GRA.
And this is a very huge difference from what we collected last year. You are therefore advised those commanders to take drastic measures to ensure we can achieve this particular target. But the Commission has trust in you and that any target given to you could be achieved and exceeded. So the Commission has told you that you should work hard to attain the given targets.
The paramount chief of Aflao traditional area, Togbi Amenyafiti V, lauded operations of the collection, but lamented the neglect of subsequent governments in developing his area.
All the revenue that people have been taken from Aflao to take it to Accra, we don't use a penny on this traditional area. But Aflao is the third highest revenue generation point for the government, and successive governments have been using the point border to molest my people. The closure of the border, the opening of the border, the closure of the border, the opening of the border. As I'm talking now, the border is still under lock.
Awards and citations were presented to well-deserving staff for their dedication to duty. Fred Kwame Asari, Joy News, Aflao.
Next, your money tip on Money Lab.
Good day to you, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of the Money Lab. Is there an age limit to investing on the stock market? Just like savings or current accounts, minors or people below 18 years cannot transact on their own account. So anyone at the age of 18 and above can get into stock investments on their own. But if you are below 18, an account must be opened and operated for you in trust for. For example, a parent can open a brokerage account for their ward. So it will be Mr. A in trust of their child.
And there's more news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. You get the day's latest stories from there, myjoyonline.com/business. My name is Daryl Kwawu. Thanks for watching. We will be back same time tomorrow.